So we get to do a short chapter on the basics of trigonometry. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of trigonometry before, but this is actually really fun stuff, I promise. It's something you'll see again in Algebra 2 and maybe later in geometry as well. So we are going to work with the trigonometry that applies to right triangles. You can see we have our right triangle over here that we've been using this whole, or from our last chapter as well. And we've got this thing, it's an acronym, SOHCAHTOA. If you can remember SOHCAHTOA and how it's spelled, then you're going to remember all of the three trig functions that we're going to use in this chapter. So let me go through those. First, we have the sine, so that's pronounced sine, S-I-N-E. Your calculator has a sine button and it looks like S-I-N. So maybe you've seen that, you've been calling it sin all these years. It actually is pronounced sine. So the sine of angle A we find by creating a ratio of two sides. And so what we do is we take the opposite leg and put it over the hypotenuse. So if you look at angle A, here's angle A right here. So the opposite side is going to be the side that is across the triangle from it. So there's the opposite side. And then the hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle across from the 90 degrees. So here is the hypotenuse. So you can see that the sine of angle A is A over C. Or here's that opposite over hypotenuse. So that's your SOH, S-O-H. The sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. All right, well then we have cosine. Cosine on your calculator looks like C-O-S. Maybe you've been calling it cos all these years. So that actually is pronounced cosine. Cosine is found by taking the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. So in the acronym up there, it's SOHCAH, C-A-H. So we take the adjacent side and put it over the hypotenuse. So if we look at angle A again, this all is in reference to angle A because we can see it says the cosine of angle A. Now, adjacent means next to. So when you see adjacent, just remember it means next to. So you want the side that's next to the angle. Well, you actually have two sides that are next to the angle. If you notice, here's angle A, you've got C, and you've got B. Angle A is not next to it, it doesn't touch it at all. So we're looking at C and B. Now, the thing that you want to remember is, well, I'm going to tell you and then you're going to remember it. Adjacent actually is going to be the side that's not the hypotenuse. So here's angle A, you've got two sides, one of them is the adjacent side and one of them is the hypotenuse. Because we already know what the hypotenuse is, side C, we are going to go ahead and say that side B is the adjacent side. So that gets set up as adjacent over hypotenuse, so side B over side C. All right, our last one is the tangent. Tangent on your calculator is the tan button. Tangent of angle A, we take the opposite leg or side over the adjacent side. So again, here's angle A. We already have this labeled. Here's our opposite side, and we know the adjacent side is B. So it's going to be A over B. So here is A over B, and that is the TOA. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So of course we're going to do some example problems with this, but that's what SOHCAHTOA means.